managing partner of the Sam Bernstein law firm, Mark Bernstein. Good morning,
Great
Mark.
to be here, guys.
Hey, how are you?
It's always good.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it was before COVID that you were here last in person.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I haven't been here since in person. I think I've been by Zoom a few times since then. But I was talking to Karen. I think we've been working together for a decade or so.
Oh yes, for sure.
Least.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Remember Behind the Badge?
Oh yeah, yeah.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
When we vandalized the police department's
That's right.
meeting room.
That's right. That was when the town was at its safest.
That was right, and I will take full credit for it.
Yeah, Mark took a magic marker and wrote on a dry erase board, and you can't write it on a dry erase board, a magic marker. It couldn't erase it.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. It might still be up. I don't know.
So every time we get a chance to talk, I always like to talk about Michigan athletics and we're finally national champions.
Oh my gosh.
So does anything else matter?
I'll take full credit for that. No, nothing else matters at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everybody. It was an amazing run for a football program, and it's fun. You know, the spring game was this past weekend. They got more people there than it was on national television. I mean, the level of excitement for the football program and all of athletics at Michigan is through the roof. So we've got new coach in football, new coach in men's basketball, great recruiting classes. The team, you know, it's going to be a crazy home schedule.
Yes.
This coming year for football.
Welcoming Texas to town right away.
It's like right out of the box. It's just kind of bananas. So we'll see. We had a big fight last night among my family having Passover Seder about who, you know, what are we going to win? Are we going to lose? How many games are we going to lose this year? You know, of course, very pessimistic.
Right, of course.
You know, but it's going to be a great season. And people are pretty excited about it, and basketball too. So we'll see.
Does the board have any input in the hiring of the coaches?
Not really. I mean, it's such an important. I mean, this is both. It's such a huge hire, in terms of the cost and the salary and the visibility and everything. Someone one time said that the University of Michigan is a health system with a football team. Right. And other people have said, it's in some ways true, for better or worse, our athletics program and our football program is kind of the front porch of the university.
For sure.
And so we take the board a more meaningful degree of interest in, or significant degree of interest in the football, in everything that relates to it. It's a very sensitive place. You can get into a lot of trouble, all kinds of things. But we don't have that's the athletic director's job. It's the highest paid public employee in the state.
Right.
And in most states it is. I think in
Right.
27 states the highest paid public employee is the football coach. And then in, I think, 20 other states it's the basketball coach of the public university. Which is, I don't know what that means about our society or our education, but it's a reality, and so we take an interest in it, but it's not our decision.
Right.
Well, all the news these days is about things happening in court.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Lots of different courts.
Lots of different courts all over the country. But there's, litigation, there's threats of litigation, and one thing Andy was talking about before the show, the school districts are not happy with social media companies that have been testifying in Congress.
That's right.
They're threatening to actually sue.
Yeah.
Is there a leg to stand on?
So absolutely there is, we believe, and it's really interesting that you mentioned that. So, the last time we were here, we were talking about the opioid litigation that our law firm's been involved in, and we're pretty much at the tail end of that case, and it was a very complex, sprawling 6-year litigation that we've been talking about with you since the very beginning of it. And that case involved holding we represented 63 counties and cities in the state of Michigan, like 85-90% of the population of the state represented by our clients, suing opioid manufacturers, distributors, retailers, consulting firms, pharmacy benefit man, on and on and on, for their role in the opioid epidemic and the cost that caused municipalities to have to spend to clean up the mess. Addiction services, drug addiction related programs, on and on and on. And we in that litigation, we used a theory called public nuisance, which basically said you made this product, you put it into the stream of commerce, essentially. You didn't regulate it properly. You didn't track these drugs properly, and you caused an enormous amount of damage as a result of it. you misrepresented the qualities of the drugs, on and on. That same exact legal theory we believe can be applied to social media and the costs that social media has caused through its addiction, just like opioids, on kids in schools, and the cost that schools now need to pay in order to deal with the problems that social media causes among their students. So all of the things that social media does to kids washes ashore in the classroom. And so we're beginning to represent school districts across Michigan in litigation against the large social media companies. And we'll see where this goes.
Well, there are kids, and this is unbelievably something that's happening. Teenage boys are being extorted and in some cases killing themselves because they're threatened with the release of fake or nude or other compromising photos from social media.
With the AI stuff now, Mark.
Wow, it's incredible. But on that point, Bartha, you're mentioning, we have a client that indicated to us that they have a school every single day of the school year. One of their schools has to close because of a threat made on the safety related to the safety of the students of that school in the social media environment. And you add up the cost of that type of interruption every single day. This is a very large school district. I'm sure the educators in Jackson would say that the work that they do has gotten more and more complicated and difficult and challenging because of the impact of social media on their students in many different ways that are obvious and some that are less so.
What's your take on TikTok, and what do you think that ban will come to fruition?
You know, I don't know. I don't know if that's. I'm a free speech absolutist. I'm not a person that believes. In some ways, I'm quite libertarian, and I feel like you can't regulate your way out of the responsibility of companies, of families, of parents, of community leaders. These, they'll find a way to get at to obtain this product or access it. I don't think you can regulate your way out of some of these things. Sure. I think that technology companies for sure bear huge responsibilities to conduct themselves in different ways and should be held accountable in many instances. But I think banning a product or a service is oftentimes not the right way to go.
I believe you were a victim of distracted driving, and that is through the roof.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah. It was indirectly related to distracted, but the amount of, and you probably, we've talked about this before, how much distracted driving there is on the roads
it's
crazy. And now, in addition to distracted driving, there just seems to be this, we've seen it, I don't know if you've seen it, but certainly this increase in not just distracted driving, but just like extraordinarily aggressive driving. That there was just a story in the New York Times about and including some research that's been done in Michigan by the Michigan State Police about what is causing this significant increase, not just in distracted driving, which people have been thinking about and talking about and studying for a while, but more importantly, or equally important, the impact of extraordinarily aggressive driving, higher speeds, tailgating, that kind of thing, in larger vehicles, more SUVs, more large pickups, that kind of thing, is causing significant challenges. We continue to see, even when I started 20 years practicing law, 25 years ago, and we do more auto accident cases than any other law firm in Michigan, by far. But you would see, it was a very kind of standard accidents, intersection, someone went through a stop sign, someone was going just a little bit too fast. But in every instance, it was, I would call it kind of someone would rear end somebody. One of the fundamental things that you would do when you were doing an accident reconstruction would be, let's look at the skid marks. Find the skid marks, measure them, it'll tell you how fast people are going, blah, blah, blah. Now, there very rarely are there skid marks.
Yeah.
Because the first time someone becomes aware of a collision with a human being, a car, a motorcyclist, a horse, we have a case like that, is when they make contact.
Right.
And then they look up from their phone, and they were also going like 30 miles an hour over the speed limit or something. It's nuts.
Yeah.
And
It's scary out
super,
there.
It is really scary out there, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen cars up in the back of a tractor trailer. Because they just rear-ended it to the point where they've actually driven into the trailer.
Into the trailer, or under the trailer, or through the trailer.
Right.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, the FTC is banning non-compete agreements.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know much about that, but it's intriguing actually. Like banning the use of non-compete agreements. You know, it's funny. I don't follow that very carefully because law firms can't really have non-compete agreements. It's just like the bar association doesn't permit that. But I would imagine that's a pretty significant change in other areas for sure.
You mentioned the role you played with the opioid settlement, and actually Michigan got how much? You talked to Dana Nessel
Yeah, I
last
did.
week.
A lot of money. 600 million?
Now it's the money.
Maybe more than that.
Once
Almost
it's
a billion.
In some, it was definitely over $1 billion because what the Attorney General collected, and we worked very kudos to her and her team. They have been incredible as partners in this litigation, because that litigation, the opioid litigation, involved basically two tracks: a state track that the Attorney General's office led, and then a municipal track, counties, cities, villages, townships, that type of thing. That's where we really lived in that litigation. And some states, the two tracks, the Attorney General and the lawyers working with municipalities were fighting with each other tooth and nail, and that really reduced the amount of money that was collected. In Michigan, we got maximum recovery for the people of the state of Michigan, and we got it quickly, and it's all due to the fact that the Attorney General on this case was amazing, working with municipalities.
Do you have any legal issues you want, Mark?
Yeah, I can give you free legal advice is worth what you pay for it.
Nothing too pressing at this time.
All right,
Actually,
good.
things are smooth. Thank you.
But I'll be sure to. Anytime you need a hand, just give me a call. You know how to reach us.
I know.
Do you have a lot of people that come up to you at events and ask for?
Of course, all the time. And I honestly love that. I mean, honestly, you take for granted how giving someone an answer about something that you have, either I know the answer, and if I don't know the answer, I try to find someone who does. Yeah. And I know it makes a pretty significant difference in people's lives when I'm able to do that. Sometimes it's a small thing, but sometimes it's a big deal.
And no one ever gets a bill from.
No one ever gets a bill. That's right. We used to joke. My brother, who's on the Supreme Court, as you guys know, he's been a friend of the station. He ran our public service division for years and years and years and handled massive cases, but he never charged a fee.
Never charged, ever.
And we were frequently, my dad would always say, you could charge like a little bit. Just we used to think our public service division was the fastest growing division of our law firm. And they never charged a fee.
That's hilarious. Mark, always great to see you. And
great to be here.
So much fun having you
to be with you
in
guys.
person. Mark Bernstein, president at the same Bernstein law firm. More of the show right after this quick break.